And one thing I would like to allude to or tell the other youth out there is we have to start creating our own solutions for our own problems. Otherwise, no one else is going to come from, Europe,
Yes.
America, or wherever to try and fix our own issues.
Yeah.
So I would like to urge other youth, the other creatives out there, hit the ground running, go in there, try and solve the problem that your neighbor has, the problem that your friends have.
Yeah.
And by creating those solutions, you can easily become the next big company of tomorrow, creating bigger solutions nationwide and on a continent level.
Now I'm going to talk to my people.
Yes.
Because I like what, as we are saying,
Yes.
Vive la France, vive la francophonie. So, le leadership, c'est quoi? Le leadership, ce n'est pas le fait d'intimider les gens ou bien de dominer les gens. Non. Le leadership, c'est le fait d'aider les gens à suivre le bon chemin. Parce qu'il y a des gens qui sont là, ils ne savent même pas par quel chemin emprunter. Il y a des gens qui ont même étudié, mais ils ne savent pas quel business ils doivent faire. Maintenant, l'idée, quand tu rencontres une personne pareille, tu vas l'orienter. Non, tu peux faire mieux que ce que tu fais. Non, la peur que tu as là ne va pas te tuer. Tu peux aller au-delà de la peur. L'idée, c'est comme j'avais donné l'exemple, allow me to go a little bit deeper. J'avais donné l'exemple ici en français, en anglais, pardon. La vidéo que j'avais vue à propos de chiens, il y avait un groupe de chiens au niveau du Canada et il n'y avait pas de l'eau. Pourquoi? Parce qu'il y avait la neige, il n'y avait pas la place pour que tout le monde puisse boire de l'eau. Mais il y avait seulement une petite place pour le boss que je vais appeler. Et il ne voulait pas que les autres puissent venir boire de l'eau, comme il était boss. Il intimidait les gens. Mais il y avait un petit garçon, un petit chien qui était là à côté. Il a eu l'idée de briser la glace, là où il y avait pas, parce que l'eau était en dessous et il n'y avait pas moyen de boire. Mais le petit chien a brisé et tout le monde a vu ce qu'il faisait. Ils sont venus, ils ont commencé à briser et tous ont profité avec l'eau potable. Et le boss était laissé comme un vaurien. Personne ne le faisait confiance parce qu'il n'était pas là pour les aider. Il était là pour le faire peur, les intimider. Mais l'idée, c'est quelqu'un qui est là pour aider quelqu'un à avancer jusqu'à son destin, à sa vision. Parce que nous avons tous nos visions, mais c'est la peur des fois qui nous arrête. Merci mon ami.
Which is the French Development Agency. They brought in Organization of Institute Francophonie countries. Yeah. They brought in Institut Français. These are the gatekeepers. These are the people who are going to be dealing with us, the young people. And the conversations were about, okay, what is AFD doing? And for me, it was very interesting to find that we've known AFD as a development agency for France, but investing in big businesses, infrastructure, roads, government and projects, but they had never thought about the creative industry. And for them to have this conversation, influenced by the French policies on how to engage with the new Africa, and also realizing that their politics has not worked, but the many young people now are taking over in Mali, in Gambia, they are realizing that these young people, they don't know what's going on with them. They need to get to tap into their knowledge and see what's going on in their head so that they can also understand them as well as support them.
I joined Seed Show to gain exposure, to become international. I feel through this, I'm going to be normal.
Cause you're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart. Cause you're a sky full of stars. Cause you light up the path. I don't care, go on and tear me apart. I don't care if you do.
My biggest reason why I started the CD show was the force and the lack of an identity in Uganda, and also a community that can bring the designers together. It all started from these good designers I always meet, and they don't have support. You look at someone is so excellent, but imagine working from home. Others are working from boys' quarters. Others are working from garages. So basically, when I add up all these creative people I see, we have no reason why still Uganda is recognized by Amini's regime. If we have these creative people, why don't we promote them for the country to grow? We need to celebrate our own talent. So when I bumped into this American embassy diplomat, I pitched her and she loved the idea. That's how the partnership started. Though the biggest challenge we're having now, we lack space. Sometimes the embassy provides us with space. Our vision basically is to create a community of designers and to identify Uganda's fashion. We need to see a generation where designers look at the environment and turn it into garments so that anywhere in the world someone can recognize that this fashion is from Uganda. We started by a small number in 2014. We're looking up to a bigger number because we have so many designers, but the facilitations we have can't manage us to accommodate the biggest number. We started by hosting our event at US Ambassador's residence. Then after we welcomed the Kampala Fashion Week on board, and then for the third year we welcomed Bayimba International Music Festival. Though now we're looking up to having our dream event and get all the networks in the industry. We've been working with some local volunteers from the industry, but since the number grows, we again need more trainers to help the designers. Our dream is to discover new designers and give them fashion and design skills. We also dream to have a fashion curriculum and a structure where these designers could meet for knowledge, which they can also pass on to the next generation.
Ras Cass, welcome to the program. Of the Cassware, welcome to the program. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good.
Great.
Yes.
And how have you been? Has a year been for you?
Lockdown, like, it's challenging, but it helps us on the side of creativity.
Okay, that you are able to create more things. Great to have you here, Ras Kasozi. Ras Kasozi, you are a big icon at the moment in Uganda, and you've joined the platform of the generals like Santa Nzo, Stella Tal, Latif Kasumba, Sensund Fashion, and all these other people that we have in Uganda. And of course, what does that make you feel, first of all, as a young man joining the league of the big men and women?
I believe we all have to share the cake of the world. Like, we shouldn't discriminate. We're all human. We have to struggle for whatever we want.
Yeah.
But it's another lesson to me, because me basically I'm coming from the ghettos. I never thought I could make it this big. I'm not yet to my goals, but I also appreciate for the journey I've taken, because when I see my background and where I am now, a bit I struggle. So I try to change the mindset of people. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would want to say welcome to the show, Ras Kasozi. Ras Kasozi is the founder and artistic director or creative director or fashion director of Raswear or Cassware, and of course is the fashion design house known now internationally from Uganda. We're going to dig deep to basically know who Mr. Kasozi is and where he comes from, which part of this country, who are his ancestors, where does he come from, so that we get to know him a little bit more from a personal point of view. But on that note, I would like to invite all of you guys watching the show to share it far and wide. We're live on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube. Please feel free to share far and wide and enjoy the conversation with Ras Kasozi. Mr. Kasozi, welcome back to the program. First thing first, who is Ras Kasozi? And what is the meaning behind your name? If I'm watching the show from New York, from Vancouver, or from Egypt, and I don't know you, or even from the northern part of Uganda, from Barara, from Tungamu, from Kasese, I don't know you. Who are you? And what are the values that define you as a person?
Basically, I'm an African. Like, Ras, R-A-S, to me is African, and then Kasozi is my indigenous name, meaning I'm from Ngabi clan. Yes, so I'm typical African. Yes, from the Kamwe Muganda, basically.
Yeah.
And
which part of Buganda? Oh, yes.
I come from Muduma. Yes, Muduma. That's the Pigi side.
Okay.
Yeah. So with the purpose of...
Is that the central part of Uganda?
Yes, central part of Uganda.
Yeah, please go on.
Yes, I'm coming from a central part of Buganda.
Yes.
Uganda, yes. And I have a purpose of living. I got an opportunity to know why I live. Business-wise, I make clothes, but why I'm on earth is I nurture possibilities.
Okay.
So my purpose is so much into supporting the youth, spreading the talent I have, teaching, through love, magnetic, sharing ideas, and also self-confidence.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to just take you a little bit back, Ras Kasozi. From you got nominated to come onto this program, and of course, a lot of people follow your work. And most times in Uganda, we know so many people. They are big names, very big, great names, but we don't know who they are. We don't know where they're coming from. We don't know what they have been through. Could you take us a little bit more about your life growing up as a child? Did you ever see yourself ending up here? How did you end up in the fashion industry, first of all? And what was your school life and growing up like?
I think being a fashion designer is accidental to me. Yeah. Though I'm coming from a tailoring family, my mom used to be a tailor, and she never supported me to be a tailor. because she was struggling a lot with it, you know. Like tailoring is not something nice here. You get the industry just growing. So I did computer science, but after looking for jobs, finally I had that skill because I could help her from home. She used to make tablecloths. You're drawing on those flowers and stuff. So as a kid, I got that skill. Then after looking for jobs, and I failed to get jobs, I knew this skill, but I didn't know that even fashion is important. So accidentally, I went into that direction. But taking you back, I'm coming from a family of 5 children, and I'm the second one. We all doing fashion, apart from our older brother is an engineer. But yeah, we struggled with life. Like we helped ourselves. Like we never had this parental support so much. Like fine, the parents loved us, but they couldn't afford what we wanted. You get. But we used to discover everything. I think that's why partly I'm here, because I have the ability to survive. Yes.
Okay. Talking of this is a very interesting story actually, and journey, Ras Kasozi. How did you end up into the Rasta name from Charles Kasozi to the Ras Kasozi that now become the Kaswea? Yes.
I think self-belief, like no one supported me. All my family members are cool. You get this gentle.
Yeah.
But I was not inspired by anyone.
Yeah.
I don't know why I choose that way, but I think it's from the struggle we went through.
Yeah.
You try God, God used to help you. You try your siblings, they used to help you. And then you get this habit of surviving by your own and having your own identity, having your own passion. That's how I turned into, I think that.
Yeah. Of course, God helped you because you are still alive. You are still alive in the struggle and the process. You could have, died like many have done. The fact that you had the spirit behind you that will allow you to think, to say, no, I'm more than this. That we always say is God, the spirit that is beyond the human being we can't see. That's how we call it. But thank you very much, first of all, for knowing that you have actually come from there. Now, let's talk about, you said your mother was a tailor and you got into tailoring by accident. Learning from you is a very interesting thing. A lot of people out there may not know how to, turn around their situation. To you, fashion and tailoring was never something your mother wanted you children to get into, because she was struggling with, maybe wasn't paying very well. How is it now with your mother, given where you have reached and traveled the world showing fashion? Does it make her look good? Does it make her, what has been her response so far?
Unfortunately, she passed on.
Before you became a superstar?
Yes. Now, a little story about that. Yeah. I did my first showcase from Baimba.
Yes.
That was 2010.
Yes.
And she used to tell me, Kasozi nebe byolimu bikola, you get.
Yes.
And
you
get, yeah, such things.
Yes.
So when I got this opportunity to showcase, I said, I'm not going to tell her. I'll surprise her with my fashion show.
Yes.
So she passed away like 2 weeks before.
No.
So she never saw any success of me.
Wow. Oh, no. That's sad. I mean, for our parents should have been able to see what you're doing. Let's talk about a little bit about your father. We boys always have some father figure in our lives, and if they're there, was he a fashionista? Was he also a tailor? What was your father like?
Oh, my father is a cobra.
Okay.
Yes, so he's also an artist. Yes, makes shoes.
Yes.
So I think I share the talent from both sides.
Okay.
Both my parents are artists.
Okay.
Yes.
And did your father ever supported you in your journey of becoming an artist?
Yes, he did. After school, as I told you, I was in a journey of looking for a job.
Yeah.
I told him I want to know how to make. I wanted fashion, I think. Yes, I told him to do fashion, but I didn't know the entire fashion. I knew tailoring. So he got a friend who was supplying uniforms to St. Lawrence. So he connected me to him with the purpose of me learning making suits and make uniforms for St. Lawrence. So I went to Chiembe. He paid for me 300,000 to learn a coat. Yes, that's where my mind opened, and I loved everything. So I ran away from the lessons and started doing my own thing. So his dream didn't happen. I never made even a single uniform for St. Lawrence.
So what did you do with the 300,000 he gave you? Uganda
I went and learned like 1 month that the basic knowledge I got for suits was enough for me to know how to make everything, bra, pants, hats, and everything. So I started doing like online books and stuff.
Wow. Well, we're talking to Ras Kasozi here. Charles Kasozi is Kaswear, if you know him, a fashion house springing out of Uganda locally here to the international fashion scene and stages all across the world. And we're going to be sharing a little bit more about Kasozi and his work. And of course, I want you to share this video far and wide. If you're a fan of Kasozi, please make sure it reaches far and wide. We're live on YouTube, House of Talent UG, of course. And, you know, go to our Twitter. It's live for those who are driving and for the upscale people to follow, you know, a story of a Ugandan man who is going around the world changing life. Kasozi, before we take a break, we want to talk about a very fascinating story you talk about here. Quite a lot of times when we're young and we're looking for money to do stuff, parents sometimes may not have the money to give us. We don't have uncles to give us. Our story in Africa is a bit different from the stories of people across the, you know, other continents in the world. I want to know from you, you know, and of course somebody who's watching this show either from here or a child watching in Myanmar or wherever they're watching, or in Congo where we're watched very much, would want to know, if I don't have the money and I have the passion and I have the zeal and I have the drive, but money is also needed to start it, how do I start? Where do I go? At least for you, your father gave you 300,000 to go and do a course. We don't know whether you spent the whole school fees or you only spent 1 month, took part of the school fees. What happened? How did you start, you know, your fashion? Did you get money from somewhere? How should one start if I want to start? And I was like Kasozi.
I think we should try to be close to people who love what we do, basically. Because even me, I managed to skip from that low level to another level because I had networks. Yes. Just me and Mia meeting Gloria Wavamuno changed my mind. Because I used to be in Muyayona Street. So someone introduced me to Gloria Wavamuno, that I'm good, me I didn't know. Then, I lost my phone like over 2 months. So surprisingly, I got a text from Gloria. Kasozi, I've been looking for you over the last 3 months. Then my mind was like, the daughter of a tycoon is looking for me. I was even moving on Loom Street. So that changed my mind and started respecting myself a bit. Like, somehow I'm important. If someone important
is looking for me,
that's opened my mind and started to know that I need to be serious, have a skill, have a business, and also work more with my fashion, because by then I was still an amateur. So I never had money to go to buy books, and no designer could invite me, So I got to know basically all the knowledge through Aristoc, but I couldn't afford any book. I could go open and feed the mind. I move out, I make notes before I forget.
Wow. Kasozi, I mean, right there's an art of creativity when you're talking about this thing. It's not everybody gets to that point. Ladies and gentlemen out there, we are talking to Kasozi of the, Kaswear, and he's a Ugandan fashion designer. Now you've had the first background story of Kasozi and where he comes from. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, creative industry will
will continue talking to Kasozi, and we'll be able to ask Kasozi to tell a little bit more about, you know, the things he's doing now and how he ended up, you know, the first plane out of Uganda. What happened? Where did he go? And how did it feel like, you know, from the suburbs of Kampala, PG, to the rest of the world? We're going to get to know that in just a minute. Stay right there. Creative Minute Talk. We'll be right back after this break. Do you think this relationship, this new direction from France, actually should be taken serious by the Africans?
Definitely. I think if the French were not really engaged and ready to, you know, to create this new paradigm with all the young people in Africa, they wouldn't have invested so much into this whole conversation. I think what is important is really to recognize the fact that France has had a lot of trouble in Africa, given its Francophone territory in West Africa. And then it had also had a lot of disconnection from the Anglophone, the Lusophone, and the Spanish-speaking African countries. So when you find the investments that France make in the Francophone Africa are not the same investments or opportunities that are in the Anglophone Africa and the Lusophone Africa, when we talk about the Portuguese-speaking African countries like Mozambique and Angola. So they are realizing that, okay, if we have people in Africa, they're not only living in the Francophone African countries, but they're also living in the Anglophone countries. And I think the strategy here, this is my observation, is that it's not that it's going to be a direct government engagement with young people. No, I think that's why they brought in, you know, partners like INPay, which is an investment agency. They brought in like AFD, which is the French development agency. They brought in Organization of Institute Francophone countries. They brought in Institut Français. These are the gatekeepers. These are the people who are going to be dealing with us, the young people. And the conversations were about, okay, what is AFD doing? And for me, it was very interesting to find that we've known AFD as a development agency for France, but investing in big businesses, infrastructure, roads, government, and projects, but they had never thought about the creative industry. And for them to have this conversation, influenced by the French policies on how to engage with the new Africa, and also realizing that their politics has not worked, but the many young people now are taking over in Mali, in Gambia, they are realizing that these young people, they don't know what's going on with them. They need to get to tap into their knowledge and see what's going on in their head so that they can also understand them as well as support them.
My biggest reason why I started the CD show was the force and the lack of an identity in Uganda, and also a community that can bring the designers together. It all started from these good designers I always meet, and they don't have support. You look at someone is so excellent, but imagine working from home. Others are working from boys' quarters, others are working from garages. So basically, when I add up all these creative people I see, we have no reason why still Uganda is recognized by Amini's regime. If we have these creative people, why don't we promote them for the country to grow? We need to celebrate our own talent. So when I bumped into this American embassy diplomat, I pitched her and she loved the idea. that's how the partnership started. Though the biggest challenge we're having now, we lack space. Sometimes the embassy provides us with space. Our vision basically is to create a community of designers and to identify Uganda's fashion. We need to see a generation where designers look at the environment and turn it into garments so that anywhere in the world someone can recognize that this fashion is from Uganda. We started by a small number in 2014. We're looking up to a bigger number because we have so many designers, but the facilitations we have can't manage us to accommodate the biggest number. We started by hosting our event at US Ambassador's residence. Then after we welcomed the Kampala Fashion Week on board, and then for the third year we welcomed Bayimba International Music Festival. Though now we're looking up to having our dream event and get all the networks in the industry. We've been working with some local volunteers from the industry, but since the number grows, we again need more trainers to help the designers. Our dream is to discover new designers and give them fashion and design skills. We also dream to have a fashion curriculum and a structure where these designers could meet for knowledge, which they can also pass on to the next generation.
Welcome back from the break. This is the Creative Industry Talk. My name is Eddie Okila, and this particular show today we're talking to a young man from PG, the central part of Buganda, who is a fashion designer. Ras Kasozi, aka actually known as Charles Kasozi, is a Ugandan boy who is a fashion designer. And of course, you've had the first part of the show when we're talking to Kasozi about his background and how, you've been able to go across the world. Welcome back to the program, Kasozi. I know we talked about the background, and I like so far the story. It's very authentic, how it comes out, and how you got inspired into the fashion industry. The story with Wavamuno's daughter is quite a very amazing story right there, that somebody texts you and then you're able to realize, oh wait, I'm actually important. If Gloria Wavamuno is looking for it, means that there's certain value that she gives me which you are not giving to yourself. That in itself is a plus, going forward. Mr. Kasozi, would you tell us a little bit more about the journey from the local scene of fashion design here to the international stages that you've been able to go,
It's been quite challenging, but it takes self-confidence. Yes, from the start you need to know what you want. Like me, I've been an artist, like I'm born an artist. Though not knowing which direction, I've tried all kind of art. Yes, and I always apply too much art in my fashion. Though as we grow, we meet different people and they tell you more about what you do. That's why I always say we need to be close to people who understand our vision. Yes, people who can support what we do. For example, for my first international platform, by then I was working with Babaluku, Bavubuka All Stars. Yes, I was part of it.
Yes.
and for him is from this international scene.
Yeah.
So he grabbed all my photos and applied unknowingly.
Yes.
Yes, because he knew I couldn't understand that.
Yes, yes.
So I applied after. He told me, Kasozi, you have a passport? I said, yes. Then he chilled it. He told me, yeah, next month, you coming here. I couldn't believe that, of course. Yes. I know he was just encouraging me to work hard because I couldn't know that I deserve that or I can be part of that. Because I was even the first African to be to Vancouver Fashion Week. Yeah, and Ugandan, you get coming from the ghettos. I was working from this corner. You get like a smaller place, paying 50K a month. You get so that wasn't my platform. So when it reached to 2 weeks after working on all the papers, they told me, you go to Canadian consulate and ask for visa fee. There, I got that it was, I think it was a month before, I started to panic that it was serious. And with that month, I had to spend 2 months from Kenya processing the visa. You know, in our mindset, too many visa tebazigabaye. And with art, you work with motivation. So every time I could try to get a piece of paper to sketch, I could get nervous, think of a visa, you get, I failed. Till after the 2 weeks, I got my visa and I started sketching. I remember I did my sketches even from the bus as I was coming back from Kenya. When I reached home, I started sleepless nights, you get. I made my collection in two weeks. That was 48 pieces. One person.
Wow.
And a miracle happened to me. I had to fly 3 days before the fashion show. And I planned to finish on that exact day. So accidentally, I didn't know, I left here the same date. I spent 18 hours on the way and I reached the same hours I left here. You get so. I advanced like
24 hours.
Yes. So I got that extra day. To finish my stuff. But that changed my mind so much because I reached to Vancouver and they always go through your work. If it doesn't reach that standard, you don't showcase. I was on a big panic. But models showed me that I've passed that. Models were grabbing, fighting for my pieces. I never even wait for
from the local stage in Uganda here. To now model fighting for you, and this was your biggest stage. How many stages have you been in Uganda before this opportunity to go to Vancouver by
then? I think I'd done two. I'd showcased to Silk and Bayimba.
So first was Bayimba and then Silk.
Then my third was international.
Wow.
And on that show, I tend to be among the top 3 designers. And I was showcasing with Michael Kors, you know. So after that, people loved my collection so much, and I got another opportunity to showcase my collection again. I remember they were launching some electric car. They had produced. So I was their entertainer. So I loved the tour so much, and it changed my mindset because the love I got there, I never had it here. You get, so I was like, why my home people convincing me? You get, so I came back very tough with another mindset. You get, fighting for myself.
I want to know from you, this is a very compelling story. If you're following the show, it's a Creative Industry Talk right here on House of Talent Television. My name is Eddie Okela, and Kasozi is in the studio, or Kasozi Charles, who is Ras Kasozi, is on the program, and of course we're talking about his journey to the national, from the national here, from the local stages in Uganda to the international platform in Vancouver, Canada, and that's a very fascinating story right there. Again, earlier on you talked about we need to surround ourselves with people who will inspire us. I want you to take us back. You are now in Canada. You have been, loved, and you came back with a different mindset altogether. Did you earn money, or money wasn't a biggest motivator at that point?
For them, it's automatic. It's the system. It's not about me.
Yes.
It's about the system.
Yes.
It's like however much you want to travel to Iganga without paying. The system is they need your ticket in a bus. You get.
Yes.
So for them, they know the system that fashion is a business.
Yes.
After showcase, for example, what happened to me after showcase, I thought, as usual in Uganda, after showcase, you pack your stuff in a suitcase, you go home.
Yes.
But for them, after showcasing, they had to announce my pop-up shop.
Yes.
Yeah, they got a big shop. I got a day. They put everything they had aside and display my stuff.
Yes.
So people came and purchased everything, and I love the way they did it. They were asking me, like I had a manager that time.
Yes.
She was called Christine.
Yeah.
She asked me how much this jacket, and then she had to teach me, now, in Canada, you can't sell something from the runway, $300. That's very cheap.
Yes.
Yeah, like expenses are here high, and also the platform you get.
Yeah.
So she helped me to price.
Know the pricing.
Yes.
Yeah.
She did that, so I gave her the authority to do everything for me. And people were even booking before. They were testing us.
Yes.
I'm coming for this jacket. I'm coming for this skirt.
Yes.
You get. So it was really, really nice, and I sold everything. When you're flying, you always have your shopping list.
Yes.
I had my budget here, sewing machine, camera, you get. I got everything I wanted.
Yes. And so you came back from one chance given to you by the one and only philosopher. We call him the hip hop philosopher, Baba Luko. You came back with this money back to Uganda, and you had everything you needed. Kasozi, let's talk about, how did you meet Baba Luko, by the way?
As a youth, I never had friends, like basically when I was growing, like, our mom used to try to tell us, like, as we poor, and it's okay. In this world, there are those rich people and then poor people.
Yes.
You get. So for us, we are born that way.
Yes.
And we shouldn't be struggling for
things that are for rich people.
You get.
Yes.
So I was very satisfied with my life. And I used to spend a lot of my time from home, within the house. Yes, doing the art, drawing, working with a machine. But accidentally, I went to Laba. No, there was a festival at Kololo. I don't remember the name. WAP used to be called WAP.
Yes, WAPI, yes. WAPI by the British Council, yes.
And I met these creative people, kids. Baba Luko had those kids rapping, painters, you get. And I said, I need to be part of this. So I met the team leader. Team leader told me, come to Machinje. He was there. So I went to Machinje. I met him. I think I used to go there every week. I went there for a month. And I was just doing nothing. Kids were rapping. Painters were doing painting. Me, I didn't know that I have even a talent. Till I said, I think this was going to chase me away.
Yes.
Every time I come, I just sit here. One day, I said, I think let me try to make a jacket. I didn't know that's even important or what. Yes. I started to make I went to Awino. I got a very cheap jacket and stitched his face here. Like I have the ability to do portraits using a sewing machine. When I reached to the...
You stitched Baba Luko's face?
On a jacket I'd made.
Yes.
Everyone was very happy and amazed about what I did.
Yes.
So that's how I got also...
From the background of being there, just waiting.
I didn't know that...
Yes.
I know how to do repairs and making some small things, but didn't know that it was nice or what. So, you know, as a creative person, Babaluku, so he will come to me, yeah, now, you know, I've done this, you can do this. And everyone was coming, other youth. That's how even I got even my brand name from there. So we used to have someone doing graphics came and say, Kasozi, now, you can swear. And let me make for you a logo. You get? And I got a brand name. Rappers used to come and tell me, yeah, you got to make for me shorts and stuff. You get? So I got the love and to know that, yes, fashion is good, and now let me settle to this.
Wow, wow. Yeah. Well, if you're following the Creative Industry Talk anywhere across the world, Ed Yokila, Ras Kasozi here. We're talking about Ugandan fashion to the international fashion stage. What a story right there coming from Ras Kasozi. Charles Kasozi is his real name, as a Ugandan born, a Muganda by tribe, from the central part of Uganda. Your story is very fascinating, Kasozi. I'm enjoying the show with you today, and this is a very interesting Creative Industry Talk. I want to just encourage everyone out there, you know, just, you know, go on there and share the story of Ras Kasozi far and wide, and make sure that there is so much love coming to this brother, and go and buy. And of course, I want to give a big shout out to my brother from another mother, Baba Luko. This is like the coolest story I've heard from Baba today of changing the life of Mr. Ras Kasozi. Rasta, let's talk about this, you know, learning from the international. You are now in Vancouver. You have learned something. Did you learn something from there? What did you pick from Vancouver when you came back to Uganda? You were able to say, you know what? I've learned this. I want to do A, B, C, D. And so my question to you is, did you learn from the international fashion stages? And what were the challenges that when you came back, you were able to fix?
Basically, I was different. I think by the time I came back, my name was everywhere. Yes, everywhere, everywhere. So by the time I landed here, I had to do so many interviews, and I never had experience into that. So my life started to change a bit, and I don't like the celebrity life. You get my life.
Because you were told you were poor, you should stay this side. Now you are being,
yeah, you have to dress this, do this. And it's not my thing, you get. So I love to keep a low profile, but I got to know the value of fashion, because they took me around so many shops and so many designers, international designers. Everything was different. So I was like, why at home they're not doing this? So what came into my mind was to focus much on the international platform, because I'm loved there more. And I have a lot of clients outside Uganda than
you are in Uganda.
So, so to me, I'm so much into developing youth's talent in Uganda and getting money from outside. So I learned that in Uganda, maybe fashion is still starting, is still young, The way we take fashion is not the way it's taken outside there. It's a big business, and here it's about talent. You get? The same thing I've told you about fashion shows here. Fashion shows are about entertaining. You like perform. But see, outside there, every year, brands come up with trend and they have to launch them. After launching them, they sell the copies.
And that becomes what we wear as fashion in the world, all across the world. I mean, Kasozi, that's a very interesting learning. You know, did you face any challenges along the way?
I was super excited. I think I was young and people loved me so much. So I was just receiving, learning everything. I remember I used to tell them, like they used to make joke out of me. I never wanted to drink water. Like they know for them water is life. And with me, I used to know I take water because I'm poor. Now I'm in Canada, I don't take water. I totally refuse to take water. And they were making fun of me.
Wow.
But the biggest challenge was, how do you leave Canada and come back to Uganda? You get, whereby now you have learned, and what you have learned doesn't work back home. You get, so it's two ways: you leave it, or you challenge yourself. You get, so now we're having the internet. So I live here, but try to make sure I'm connected to the world.
Wow. Thank you so much, Kasozi, first of all, for that moment. And thank you very much, everybody who's watching the show from all across the world. Thank you for being part of the Creative Industry Talk, growing bigger and better. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, Kasozi will tell us a little bit more about the new program is doing called the SEED program, which video we're actually going to play right now. And of course, what are the advice that he can give to the young people who have not been able to, get opportunity like him, or were looking for such opportunity like, Baba Luko gave to Kasozi to go across the world. But also, we would want to know from him, which other stages has he been to since, the Vancouver, experience and the collaboration that have been happening. Stay right there. Creative Industry Talk will be right back after this break.
I joined Seed Show to gain exposure, to become international. I feel through this, I'm going to be normal.
Cause you're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart. Cause you're a sky full of stars. Cause you light up the path. I don't care, go on and tear me apart. I don't care if you do.
itaranto hariho umutware yaratunze cyane afite n'abagaragu kera kabaye agira uruzinduko mu kindi gihugu ahamagara abagaragu be maze abasigira ubutunzi bwe umwamuhita aranteshanu undamuhe ebyiri undamuhita arantimwe itagirira kabiri maze umutwara arazinduka maze babagaragu batangira gukoresha za carano nk'uko shebuja yazibasigiye uwahawe shana aragenda arazigenza agenzura amesha hano uwahawe ebyiri nawe abigenza atyo agenzuramo ebyiri maze wa wundi wahawe imwe aragenda acukura icobo ayishamo ya tarano aratinyuka arayitabaye nuko iminsi irahitindira ataha maze shebuja mu kuzindukuruka abarana nabo ibyo yabasigiye uwahawe shana araseruka ati databuja mwiza wansigiye shanu uzungutse izindi shanu uwahawe ebyiri nawe araseruka ati databuja mwiza wansigiye ebyiri zungutse izindi ebyiri shebuja ati bagaragu banje beza nuko kuko mwakiranutse muri bike nico gitumye mbekurira byinshi ico nimuze mwinjire mu munezero wa shobuja maze wa wundi wahawe itarantimwe itagiriye kabiri adatera hejuru azayivovota cane ati databuja narinzi kuri umunyamwaga usarura utabibye na munagane itaranto narayitavye mu butaka dore ngiyo ufata ibyawe maze shebuja aramusubiza ati mbe mugaragu mubi niko wamunyabutewe esi ni wari ukwiye kuyiha abagenza maze nkasangaho inyungu yayo nuko shebuja arayimwambura ayigabira wa wundi wungutse itaranto 10 igiye mu zindi agira 11 kuko ufite wese azongererwa ariko udafite azanyagwa n'utwo yari afite maze wa mugaragu mubi baramuboha bamujugunya mu mwijima hanze azize ubupfapfa mbega agahinda we itaranto yawe yikoreshe neza igira umumaro mu gihe gikwiye itaranto yawe yikoreshe neza igira umumaro mu gihe gikwiye mbese gufasha abakene gusura abarwayi ibikorwa by'urukundo gushigikirana imirimo myiza igihe twahawe aya mafaranga nizo taranto twasigiwe ngo zigire umumaro igihe tukiriho. Itaranto yawe iyikoreshe neza igira umumaro mu gihe gikwiye. Itaranto yawe iyikoreshe neza igira umumaro mu gihe gikwiye.
I have the pleasure to present to you
KCCA has taken a number of steps to address this sanitation challenge, which include, but not limited to the following: the setup,
Welcome to Slam Dunk Basketball Talk.
A wise man once said, "The future has a name, and its name is hope. A tiny flicker of light that feeds on hope is enough to shatter any shield of darkness." At Mandulus, we really believe.
It is a Creative Industry Talk. Welcome back to the program. My name is Eddie Okila, and in the studio we're talking to Russ Cass of the Cass Wear. His name is actually Charles Kasozi. He's a Ugandan fashion designer who has been able to leap out of Uganda to the international world. What a story right there, Kasozi. Welcome back to the program. You know, most people get there, make money, or do the fashion, or do the performance, and then usually those who connected them to this kind of stages usually take the money. In your story, you had a manager, and we have not seen anywhere where you're talking about your money being taken, or you sold the first piece and you never got the money, you came back here just the way you left, but you came back with everything. What did that tell you about the one who gave you the platform, Baba Luko? He didn't take the money from you. He did not copyright the work or trademark whatever you had gone with, you know, as a fashion designer. What advice or what learning did you pick from there that you can share with the young people?
I think that wasn't much of my focus. In fact, I never wanted the money. What I got was just enough for me. But you know, when you're in this partnership, and himself knew I'm bigger than that because we're just starting. You get, it's like cutting a tree you're standing on. You get, so that was just a beginning. I think he couldn't take that little money. It was our capital to go far. You get, But I think he is still in life. We all need that management bit. We can't do everything by our own, as long as you work with the right person.
Okay. I have a question for you, Kasozi. Let us talk a little bit more about the other platforms that you've been able to go to. That was not the only stage that you've been able to go to. You've been able to go to many other stages all across the world. Could you share quickly the experiences and how many stages have you been through across the world, and what have been your experience as we move towards your new thing of teaching the young people, fashion?
I think experience is different according to the country and according to the year. You get, I used to be excited, but now it's more of work. You get, I travel for work. But last time, years back, I used to also be excited, playing, and then meet so and so. I post so much on Facebook. They need to know, now I'm in America. They need to know. Now I'm not so much into that. I'm so much about...
Let's talk about this picture here. Where was this?
That was Kampala Fashion Week. Those were my students on the fashion show. Yes.
And let's put on other pictures, and you just take us through some of these pictures. So you said you are not about now taking photos and posting pictures. Where was this?
That was Vancouver on my second show. You see, I'm short there. Those were my models.
Wow. And this one here?
That was at American Embassy, our first seed show project with Ambassador. Very excited. So.
And here, what were you doing?
Here, that was a summit for Still CD Show. They meet Bryans, a very influential individual in the fashion industry. So I try to expose these young designers to the industry, because I know it's not about knowledge. You feed them, but also they need that exposure. It changes their mindset.
And here?
Here, that is the Resource Center for American Embassy. We do our workshops from there. They give us space.
I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the SEED project. You keep talking about the SEED project. Tell us about the SEED show and the fashion that you talked about, and what opportunities it presents to the young people. Let's talk about it.
So SEED in full is skilled, expressive, entrepreneur designers. So I myself, I get so many messages on social media about teaching than even business. So I discovered that in Uganda people want to learn more, and I don't have this space. So when I bumped into this diplomat from US Embassy, I pitched her about my idea. She loved it. She gave me little money for the start. She gave me a call and said, Kasozi, we're doing this entrepreneurship week, but you left this little money, how can you use it?
What was the little amount?
I can't share, of course, but just know it was little. And I thought of doing my...
Little in context of what you got in Vancouver and what you've been getting in the national stage. Is that what you meant?
On the money that makes an event.
Yes. Continue.
So I thought of doing a collection. You saw how little it was. I thought of doing a collection for my brand. But then, because I had the time, I told her to give me 2 weeks to think about it. I remembered, but I'm having these people calling me for lessons and stuff. Then that gave me an idea to start a project that mentors young designers. So this project is always about shifting the younger designers to another level. We focus much on different activities like talent search, inspiration sourcing, idea development, self-confidence, financial literacy, basically all that. So I get these designers and we camp. I be with them, we get connected. They ask me questions, we learn, we share ideas, and at the end, we exhibit with the purpose of introducing them to the industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what opportunity do you think this seed show and the training that you have present to the young people and the younger, fashion designers coming that may never have got an opportunity to go to some top fashion, colleges or universities, but they're having it from the first-hand experience of also another young man who has come out from them and be able to do great stuff?
I think youth should join SEED because it changes their mindset basically. I use this as my example, and I didn't know that I could also make it this big because of my background. Yes. But I believe we all can if we get the exposure. So I'm so much into sourcing these established people. They meet them, they mentor them, and they get to know, if, for example, working with the American Embassy, you get some of them, it's their dream just to enter the American Embassy. They go in an American Embassy, they meet these diplomats, and they feel very proud, you get. So that's how we started. And also working with Kampala Fashion Week, people meet designers, they're there down, they never dream to meet this high, but their work meets the standard. So we work much with the mindset and also originality. In Uganda, most of the ideas designers get are sourced from the internet, and they kill their ability to develop concepts. So I'm so much into teaching them, how do you look at this coffee and make a garment? How do you listen to this sound and make a garment? How do you look at someone crying on a street and make a garment? So I give them, I awaken this ability to them to be able to develop a garment inspired by their own creativity. For example, this year we did a camp from Lunkulu. We gathered there, we stayed there for weeks and learned all these things.
Okay. Wow. So you've had it there from Kasozi about the opportunities that the Seed Show project that is running with American Embassy presents to you. If you're a designer out there, a young designer out there, or a creative mind out there, Creative Industry Talk program exists for people like you, to bring people like Kasozi to share their experiences with us, but also to expose our works to different markets that can allow us to be able to sell to them, and a platform that is given to every creative mind to come in and meet people like Kasozi, meet people who are policy makers, and we have a collaborative ideas as we expose our work out there. That's what this program is all about. Kasozi, thank you very much. We've got into the last part of the show where we're gonna have to wind up. Our time is fast spent, but I want to talk to you about any advice that you can leave us with to the young people.
A little before that, like right now, I'm working with the Baimba. I started with American Embassy, but now I'm working with Baimba, and we're having something very exciting for next year. We're building a curriculum and a serious course for these young designers, whereby we're going to be focusing on a certain group for 3 years. We go in stages, like semester 1, semester 2, semester 3. By the time you go out of the project, you're already established, or you're ready to hit the industry. Because we want now to track everyone's success in this project. Now going back to your question, you wanted
any advice?
Yes. I think it starts with ourselves. We need to know what we want. And again, we need to look for opportunity. Yeah, we need to look for people who can support us. Most people think it's money, but they can give you money and spend it all. Yeah, it's about the networks. You need to be surrounded by those very important people. That's the advice I give them, because you can't be surrounded with rich people and be poor. You can't be surrounded by knowledgeable people and you start full. You get? You can't be surrounded by creative people and you fail to be creative. So let's get surrounded by the people we dream to be like. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you very much, Kasozi, for coming to the program today, and thank you very much, everyone. We want to say we always do this on the Creative Industry Talk, where we have to bonga. So we do this and we spread love. So we're going to have to spread love from the passion of Kasozi to the rest of the people. But thank you very much for coming to the program today. We really appreciate you, and we're looking forward to having a moment with you in coming days ahead, and also with your project with Bayimba. We're definitely going to pay a visit and see how that is going to work. I'm very much excited to hear that it is coming out as something that you're going to take people through in this partnership, that by the time I've come out of that place, I'm an accomplished fashion designer ready to go to the market. Thank you very much for that and for opportunity, and we're wishing you the very best in your journey of of making the world a better place with your fashion and with your dreams, and of course with your partnership with great people. Now, to all the people out there, we have come to the end of the show. Ediokela Ras Kasozi or Charles Kasozi, aka Ras Kasozi of the Kaswear, a Ugandan fashion designer from the local scene to the national to the international stages. I've been on the program here, and we're signing out. Until next week, Creative Industry Talk has come to an end. Ediokela and Ras Kasozi signing out. To all our people who make these pictures look very good, and people who make the sound come out very good, and to all of you guys who send us your kisses and disses, thank you. Until next week. I want you to share with us from your experiences. You've been going quite a lot, traveling around the world and seeing these things in different countries. What would you share with us today that we can pick from your experiences where you've been going, that we can do down here at home and make it better in Africa, and which Abdul can pick lessons from to go back and continue to impact the lives of people in these communities. Yes.
Yeah, I
From the
think
skill development.
I think when as we said at the beginning, like we are as a community of citizens, we always like to be inspired. And graffiti normally is about inspiration. You might say piece of mask, a piece of but for example, for me, when I see most of the graffiti work, much of this work is conceptual, it's abstract. People don't understand it. But if we could start from the area where people understand, like for some of our icons, just imagine in Kawempe you have a beautiful graffiti wall of Geoffrey Oriema, of Philip Bongole Utaya, of Paul Cafero, of Fred Sebata. All these, like Peterson.
I think he has one already there of
Peterson. But then, of course, great piece. Great piece. But then
it's a recent thing. We need to something.
So we're looking at like how can we also start presenting work that is going to inspire our people, people that people need to remember. Like Peterson Mutebi, like Mr. Serasega Mwenge, all these people, the Byron Kawadwas. There are so many Ugandans that are very, very people are attached to. Just for example, like if GNL is emotionally attached to his graffiti wall mural, and then what is he going to do? He'll push it. He'll push his wall. So if Cliff Mutebi comes and sees his father's mural of Peterson Mutebi on the wall, he'll push it because he finds it that inspiration. And that's meaning that you're growing your community. You're not just skilling them with hands-on, but you're also empowering them to feel proud of who they are and who are their parents or their ancestors are. So I think we need to start looking at how do we celebrate our own? How do we celebrate? I like the Rwandan piece. And I know, because when he was explaining the love of the city, I know there has been conflict and tension between Rwanda and Uganda. It speaks volumes, but at the same time, it is detaching from the Ugandans. They're like, how do we cultivate our own people to appreciate their own history? When you look at bigger cities, they always find those people that are very related or connecting to them. The conceptualization is also about, because there's someone saying that, no, I need to speak my mind, but you also need to connect to the community.
Thank you.
How does the community relate to this kind of work? This mural, which is at Alliancia, was done by a German team. But you find the way they were trying to create, in its abstract, they also try to bring in the Ugandan aspect of it by having the crane as part of the concept. So how do we connect our work to cultivate the love and the appreciation of our own communities, and also try to grow, make it as much better and much sophisticated in a way that it shows the maturity of your work. So for me, this is what I'd like to say, that scaling is not only about giving people hands-on skills, but it's also cultivating their minds, inspiring them, making sure that you are exposing them, you're kind of challenging them to think differently, to attract a different mindset.
mbakomboze igitaramo cy'iwacu iwacu turataha dukoze ku nyamirya izubuhuha n'inkomangano biratwizihira cyane. Mpamagare muhigirwa ni Nyaruguru mu muhamirizo w'intore, mu muhamirizo w'intore. Sebaganji babukwege aseruke mu byivugo byiza. Mpamagare Sebatunzi ayihere mu miyuki akubwira intaha na batatu yaruta mu kinyange cyarutiruka mu bakemba, mu bakemba. Tugutaramiye kandi uzagaruka ahiwacu turatarama ngwinurare. Tugutaramiye kandi uzagaruka turatarama ngwinurare. Tugutaramiye kandi uzagaruka.
Epana biso tolinga kobina, epana biso tolinga kosepela ka elongo. Tolinga tosepela tosangisa pe tolingana.
Tugusogogeze ku ntango y'amahoro, kwibutsa umugani wa Nyashya na Baba, inkuru ya Saruhara rwa Nkomokomo, Cyacana ndetse na Ngunda. Tugutaramiye kandi uzagaruka ahiwacu turatarama ngwinurare. Aho dutaramiye nta rungu. Tugutaramiye kandi uzagaruka turatarama ngwinurare.
Tolingana biso kaka kosepela.
Tugutaramiye kandi uzagaruka turatarama ijoro tukarita hanze. Cyambere wampaye inka cyuringanje cyuringanje. Reka ntugatsikire. Cyuringanje cyuringanje cyuringanje. Nuko umuco wacu